Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Essex County Ghost Project TV show. It's been a heck of a year. A lot of the summer we were busy doing a lot of different things besides the paranormal. But we are back, and happy Halloween to all. 2025, the 250th anniversary of America. We'll be doing some very specialized shows highlighting some of the historical haunted 250th anniversary sites here in the Merrimack River Valley and beyond. But tonight we're going to talk about, tonight, whenever you're watching us, we're going to talk about something a little different, the Danville Beehive. The Danville Beehive is located in Danville, New Hampshire, is one of many 500 plus mysterious stone sites and sculptures in New England. We don't know who built that. There's a whole bunch of, ideologies and beliefs on the stone structure. With that, I'm going to turn over to Bill, who's the science and tech manager for Essex County Ghost Project, and we'll turn it over to him for a little bit on some of this stuff, and I'll expound on some of this stuff because I've done plenty of research on stone structures, so hasn't Bill. Bill, take it over.
All right. Okay, so this guy, Graham Gardner, he's a professional dowser. He's from England. He was at the Beehive. And that's all he used. What do you call this?
Dowsing rods.
Dowsing rods. He used dowsing rods to check for different fields, okay? Usually when they cross like that, there's a field there, electromagnetic, electrostatic, okay? So the first thing he found was high electrostatic fields inside the hut, the Beehive. With this, I checked it with this, and I agree with him. This lit up. So
I remember that.
Yeah, it lit up.
So the Beehive folks are in Danville, New Hampshire. And if you ever want to go check that out, this is one of the there's many more beehives in that area and all over New Hampshire you cannot check out. They're private.
Can't get on.
But Danville is public. I don't know the address well. I know how to get there. It's right next to the Danville DPW yard. So if you Google Danville DPW, put that address in, do not drive in the yard. You'll pull up in front of the Danville DPW, you'll see a walking trail, then you see little signs that say, to Beehive, and just follow the signs. They're very good, very accurate, and get out there now. This is the best time to go out walking because it's a lot cooler than it was this summer with 98 degrees and 25%, 50, 60% humidity. So when we went there, Bill, we found a few things going on, didn't we?
Well, another thing that Graham Gardner, the dowsing guy, he found an energy vortex inside the hut too, caused from ley lines. There's two ley lines, one on the roof and one going in straight in to the hut, okay? And I found this with my eddy current meter that looks for energy fields. This lit up inside it. Tom was in it when it lit up. I wasn't there. I was outside the hut. Tom was inside and it lit up. So this agrees with him. There are high energy fields inside cars from the ley lines on top, okay? I also checked for radiation with my radiation detector. There's no radiation found inside. I also checked for electromagnetic fields with my tri-field meter. There was no EMF fields, electromagnetic fields found inside, okay?
There were some.
Next was inside the earth, around the earth, there's electric current going around the earth. It's called telluric currents, okay? You can measure it. Now he measured it. He had a meter with him, and he checked it. It was 50 millivolts on top and 50 millivolts going inside the hut, okay? Now, these currents, they fluctuate, and they're not going to be the same everywhere. They fluctuate up and down, They're not going to be just one current. So he checked that, and he got 50 millivolts on it, okay? And then he says there's water veins running through the corners. We saw the two corners, there's water coming out of it, correct? And then there's two white crystal quartz inside the walls. If you go inside there, you'll see two crystal quartz walls. They're white. You know, it's all stone inside the walls, and there's two white objects, and that's the crystal quartz inside there, okay? And then you also discovered with these, there's a spring that goes inside the hut, a water spring underneath. Of course, we couldn't check for that because we didn't have nothing to check with it. You probably have to have radar, underground radar, to check for the water. It's the only way you could tell that. But he did this inside, and he's crossed, and he knew there was water down below inside the hut, okay? And then I discovered magnetite in the soil, okay? And the chemical name is iron oxide. And for you chemists out there, it's Fe3O4. Fe is iron, and O is oxygen. So you get 3 iron and 4 oxygen that created the magnetite. Nobody has discovered that. I'm the one who discovered the magnetite in the soil, okay? And that material's magnet, okay? It's magnetized.
Right.
It's a metallic, like little rocks inside, okay? A mineral. It's like a mineral. It's a metallic mineral that you find in the soil.
Right.
You got to know how to find it, you know? But I discovered that.
Right. And we figured it out real quick that day.
And what else is here? I think I got one more thing. Wait a minute. You got the spring. The spring and the dirt floor inside the hut.
Yep.
You detected that with the rods, 1,000 rods. Okay. I got the 50 millivolts that he discovered. He had a power meter that checked for that. I can check for that. When we go back, I can check the voltage in the ground too. Okay. And I didn't check the rocks for the for a current or voltage in the rocks, but when we go back, I'll check that. Probably next year or whatever, if we don't have time this year to do it.
Right.
Okay. So we all got that. Okay. You want to add anything to it?
Yeah, so I've been studying New Hampshire rocks, huts. I mean, thanks, Bill, for putting this list together. I went out to the car to grab my list of how many in each state, so thanks, Bill. I just didn't have my list because we're just finishing up a very busy Halloween season, 31 plus events in 30 days. So it's been we just actually finished up a luncheon talk, and I didn't think about when I buried everything back into the car. But Beehive Huts in New England, we all know about the most famous one being Stonehenge. But we also have 105 in Massachusetts, 62 in Connecticut, 51 or so in New Hampshire, Vermont 41, Rhode Island 12, and Maine 4. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've seen other numbers in other places that are a little different. You know, but
when you said 500 stone, they're not including the huts.
No.
They include all the stone.
Right. So, I mean, this is quite an area. And now, who built these? Well, I mean, they could have been early colonial root cellars. You know, if you remember your grandparents had a root cellar, my grandparents had a root cellar. I think your family probably had a root cellar somewhere along the way. I think most families back in the early 1900s, because there was no refrigeration back then, had some type of either ice box or
a root cellar where they took the vegetables and other foods to store it. So it wouldn't spoil.
Right, and the ice box was a refrigerator. The iceman would come down once or twice a week to fill your ice up, and that's how you kept your meats cold from going bad. So some say it's that. Some say
you can also salt it.
Yes.
And then unsalt it.
Correct.
After.
Some say early Native Americans used them as lodging. Some say the Vikings built them. Now, there is proof that the Vikings were here in New England. I mean, Eric the Red in
Yes,
Hampton.
I agree. I think the Vikings were the first ones here.
Yeah. Some say it was the Druids.
Druids after.
Yeah. Some say it was the Phoenicians.
Yeah, they came after.
And some say it was the Celtics.
The last to come here with the Celtics.
Yeah. Now, let me explain some of these. There's this show on TV, and I don't know if it's still on. It's called Unearthed.
No, it's not on.
It's no longer on. So one day,
almost all the channels, and that's not on.
One day during a blizzard, I was home bored. Very few times am I ever home bored. Snow days are one, because unless I have to go out, I don't really go out. And I saw this show called Unearthed. It was on. I knew the next day everything was going to be closed because it was a blizzard coming. So even though it didn't really start at 5 in the morning, it started by 8, but everybody had already shut everything down. The world was shut down. One of those blizzards.
Yeah.
So it was like 10 o'clock at night. I catch a series called, 8 o'clock it started. I catch a series on Earth, and then all of a sudden it went to Stonehenge. And they were discussing ley lines or sun lines. And if you look at Stonehenge, it lines up with England Stonehenge on one end, and then downtown Tripoli on the other end. Now, we use all this great equipment. Dowsing rods have been around for thousands of years. The stuff that Bill's got hasn't been around for thousands of years.
Afraid not.
No. So to come up with a perfect line from downtown Tripoli to Stonehenge, and then from Stonehenge to America's Stonehenge, like in a triangle, a perfect one, and then back down. You have to say to yourself, was that pure luck or was that science?
That was science.
I don't believe in pure luck. I believe in science.
Usually the ley lines is more activity, paranormal activity, when you have ley lines going into a place. And it's different than a current. It's not a current, it's energy. It's an energy field. It's not a current field.
So we got to keep this place top secret. But we're at a place somewhere in southern New Hampshire. That's all I'm going to say. Somewhere in southern New Hampshire. And there are beehives on the property. There's a lot of things going on. Paranormal. We even did some wood knocks and got responses out near a river.
Could be a Bigfoot. We don't really know.
We don't know yet. We haven't seen it, but we did get some response. We also got some chanting. But with the pendulum, I asked if there were druids there, and it answered yes. When we got closer to the house, this was further from the house, I asked if there were Vikings, and we got a yes. So it is possible that both the Vikings and the Druids and the Celtics and the Native Americans all interacted with one another.
But not at the same time.
No.
Over time.
So it makes it interesting what is really out there when you have hundreds of these stone structures all over southern New Hampshire. I mean, most of these numbers we're getting, the beehives, Massachusetts 105, New Hampshire 51. A lot of them are right here in southern New Hampshire. Massachusetts, there are really not many in the northern, like here in the Merrimack River Valley, as far as beehive huts. Rock anomalies, there's one in Haverhill. Well, it was Haverhill before it became Methuen. And that's the rock up on Hampstead Street. It's left over it's a glacial erratic. So basically it moved with the glacier and then got stuck here. So it doesn't have a home anymore, so they call it a glacial erratic. So, and that day at the Beehive was interesting. My head was spinning. There was a lot of energy. We got good reads on all the meters that Bill brought with him, and some he doesn't have. But it was quite the day for readings, if I remember correctly. Remember that day, Bill?
Yep. I backed up Graham. Graham Gardner.
Yep.
He said was there, except for the water underneath. I couldn't check that on the spring. Like I said, you need underground radar to check inside there to see if there's a spring down below. I imagine, I believe him that there is a spring. But believing and knowing is two different things,
Right, because we really don't know.
unless you check it.
So that's, some of the more interesting things that happened at the Danville Beehive, folks.
We'll be going back shortly, too,
Mm-hmm.
to check that out. I'm going to go with my metal detector and see if we can get any artifacts or stuff around it. And then, if we can find artifacts, we'll put it down in the museum.
Well, we
Find
don't, with
anything.
that, no, I'm going to actually move them. If there are artifacts found, they should go to UNH at that point.
UNH, because
Yep.
you're in New Hampshire?
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be the proper thing to do. So we will be investigating this whole area. This is a huge area of stone structures because I'm not just going to be investigating in this area. We're going to actually go down the Gungy Swamp, which is another big stone structure here in New England, and look at that. We're going to go down to Rhode Island. There's a few stone huts out there
Right.
that are worth looking at. I've been looking at these for a long time. We as a team have been looking at them for a while, but I myself have been looking at them a lot longer.
Mhm.
And we'll see where this goes. It'll probably turn into a talk down the road. And once we get more information. But these beehives are very active. There was some paranormal activity around there, but there was also high electric magnetic fields. So, Bill, you remember what the high EMFs were over there?
Well,
When we
I didn't detect it with the regular.
No.
Tri-field. I got it with a natural. I got point 0.1 with a natural. It checks DC current. Now, this checks AC current. The other meter checks DC, magnetic fields. So it's 0.1 on the magnetic meter,
Inside, yeah.
the tri-field. So we got 0.1 on that, nothing on this. There was no EMF fields,
No.
AC current inside. But higher, like I said, electrostatic fields were high. Electrostatic fields, which that
Yeah,
meter went
no,
off.
it's quite interesting what goes on out there.
Yeah.
And that mystifies me the most is who built these things.
Yeah, well.
Because they're not easy structures to build. There's some underground caves under them. We're not sure about Danville yet, but I've gotten reports.
Well, like that, like they said, it'll be a mystery. You only can guess. You're gonna,
So all we could do is guess at this point.
Yeah, we can't be exact who did it.
No.
My best guess would be the Vikings, but
All right. I mean, the Vikings, they've been sighted up in Hampton, New Hampshire. In fact, supposedly at the Kearsarge Museum, Eric the Red's grandson is buried over there.
Maybe they were looking for India and end up here.
Yeah.
Something like that. They don't know. They didn't even know about this. They just end up here. So they were looking for some other place, and they ended up over here, North America.
Right.
They didn't even know this existed
No, they didn't.
back then.
Nope, they did not know this existed back
Maybe the
then.
wind carried them. Big storm or something.
Yeah.
Blew them in. And then come here and they look for water, some food. Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's real interesting what's happening with these beehives.
Yeah.
That day inside the beehive, I do remember getting a headache. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember getting a headache. I also remember
sad.
feeling sadness and dread.
Yeah. So we don't know. Probably other things inside there we can discover.
Oh, there's a lot more to discover out there.
Yeah.
And we're working hard to understand all these beehives and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Because they're all lining up in certain angles in certain areas, and it makes it more interesting than we know. So that's one big thing. Bill, what else would you like to talk about today?
About the disclosure on UFOs.
All right, Bill, let's talk about disclosures. That's always fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been following what's been going on in the media with all this disclosure stuff?
Yeah, well, they got the Senate going on it. It's supposed to be coming out in a couple of days.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
That'll be seen. You have to see that before it happens.
Right. Because they've covered up so many things like
Yeah,
that.
right. They covered it all up.
You know, I was thinking, when this first came out, I had interviewed on this show and other shows. I had interviewed a UFO guy I know, and we were hoping for something better. Okay. So what we were hoping for when the president had declared that the Army has to release all UFO studies. Remember, the word was all.
Oh.
So the first ones that came out, there was over 60 sightings in 60 years. There's over 60 sightings in Rockingham County in 1 year alone.
That's the biggest lie right there.
Never mind the whole world, okay.
60,
so then they came up, the next one was released. They officiated 300 sightings since the 60s. I think it's up to 5 or 6 now. It's still nowhere near the truth, is what I'm getting at.
Right.
But what's, I guess, not comical, but comical at the same time.
And you can laugh.
You can laugh at this. Now, what I was hoping for, we all know about Benny and Bonnie Hill up in New Hampshire, right?
Right.
So I was hoping that this UFO report would say, okay, around the time of Benny and Bonnie Hill, 2 or 3 days leading up to it, and 2 or 3 days after, or even a week after, or a week before, there were sightings all over the place in that area. There were other sightings. That's what I was hoping to get out of this. We got nothing out of this report. In fact, if I remember correctly, Roswell, the Allegheny incident, and a few other major UFO incidents weren't even reported on this report. So I find that even more, I guess the word is hilarious, that they haven't figured this out yet.
Well, they have figured out, but they're not going to tell the truth about it.
No.
They know the truth, but they're not going to dislodge it to everybody.
But Bill, I always told the truth will set you free.
Not with them.
Not with them, no. No, I mean, there have been sightings reported in the Gazette.
Who's going to trust the government after they come out and say there are UFOs and there are aliens walking around?
Right.
Right? They have bases underground and in the ocean because people have seen them come out of the ocean. Eyewitnesses saw them come out of the ocean. So we know there's bases in the ocean too. Okay? And those flying saucers can fly through space or in water. Doesn't matter what it is. They're going to fly right through it.
And I guarantee you they're waterproof.
I hope so.
And they're built to go
They got
down.
a leak, they're done for.
Yeah, especially that low down. And there have been UFO sightings, like I said, recently in Sandown. In fact, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Havel was having a Halloween trick-or-treating, whatever, down at the Havel Stadium. And I got 4 phone calls from people that swear they saw UFOs flying over while their kids were doing the Havel. I don't know what they were doing down there. Trick-or-treating or...
Trick-or-treating.
It was a whole get-together in Havel at the park. That's all I know. I was at the Sandown Meeting House and got a phone call from somebody that there was a UFO spotted flying over the crowd at the Havel Stadium.
Right.
And it's somebody I trust, so it
But nobody took any pictures, right?
No.
Of course not. There was startled.
I didn't hear of any pictures.
Whenever you're startled, you forget to catch a camera and take a... It's too late. Soon they're gone. So.
Even myself, I've forgotten to take pictures.
Yeah,
And
because you
we're-
saw
we're
her and
trained-
you were startled by it.
And we're trained investigators. I mean, and I always got a camera, but the thing flies over your car that quickly. By the time you reach the camera, it's gone.
It's gone.
Had an incident in Rye, New Hampshire like that. 3 of us were going up north to this place in Portsmouth for dinner. And when I got back, so we were going up there for dinner. And on the way up there, this big, huge thing full of lights one person thought it was, what do you call those things? Drones.
Drones.
But this thing came off over the ocean, over Route 1, went over the marshes, and then dropped straight down.
Mm-hmm.
If that thing had actually landed somewhere or crashed, we all would have been gone because those marshes were not big enough to protect for an explosion of that magnitude.
Right.
So I don't know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
I find it real interesting.
Yeah. And it's not reported, though.
Nope.
No. They would cover it up anyways, even if it was. So they don't care.
Yeah. They would have no problem with covering it up, that's for sure.
Right. Now, remember that they had that Project Blue something. What was the name? Remember? Project Blue with Jay Hynek?
Yeah, Blue
Dr.
Book.
Jay Hynek?
Yeah.
Remember the name of that? The project he was in? Anyways, what happened was they brought Jay Hynek in to check for the, go over the UFOs and stuff. But they really brought him in to say that there was no such thing. That's what he said at the end. So they closed it down after like 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
And Jay Hynek, Dr. Jay Hynek, they brought him as a professor at MIT or one of those big universities. And he said, he checked it all. He said there's no evidence of aliens or flying saucers. So that's why they brought him in, so he could say that.
Well, that makes sense.
But he knew different because he saw him.
Right.
He saw himself, but he had to say, because he was working for the government,
Right.
so he had to say he
Something
didn't see
different.
anything or any aliens.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it is what it is. But we've come to the end of this show, Bill.
Oh, wow.
This is a great show on the Beehive, some UFO stuff. Keep an eye in the sky, and if you guys see anything and want to report it, give me a shout at Essex County Ghost Project, either on Facebook, private message me, or you can call me at 978-376-2807. We don't charge for anything we do, including investigations.
If you want to keep it secret, we
Want to
keep it secret.
secret, we'll keep it a secret for you. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll see you all soon. I'm heading home to my crypt now for a little R&R after the week we had. Good night, happy Halloween, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.